I've been pretty much steadfast in how I feel about AEW since the beginning. I think I've said both of us wanted to succeed.
Yeah.
We wanted to do well. That's why we're going to try and fix it ourselves too. But at the same point, there's one person standing in the way, and he happens to be a golem-sized object, and it's Tony Khan. He doesn't know what he's doing. You can put on a fantastic pay-per-view, 5-star matches left and right. Guess who's going to watch Dynamite tonight? 700,000 fucking people.
Well,
that's what it is.
I'm glad you brought that up.
You were there.
I was there.
I was there, man.
I was there. I saw this in person. First of all, let me just say, the crowd in St. Louis was unbelievable. It was fantastic.
So,
the one area where I do disagree with your WCW comparison, at least the AEW main eventers and feature guys, at least they work hard. At least they actually care about putting out a good product.
You don't think a Finger Poke of Doom was working hard? But I don't know about WCW because I didn't watch it.
Well, but that was the thing. The complaint about the major complaint about WCW, even in the glory days, talking 95, 96, 97,
yeah,
a good chunk of 98. The Cruiserweight division was fantastic. Mid-card was fantastic. The main event was always terrible. Always.
It was always just NWO beating people up.
Yeah, NWO beating people up. You have veterans who really didn't care about putting together a good in-ring product. You got this, you got that. AEW, yeah, they have booking flaws. There's no question about it. They have writing flaws.
It's not a flaw. It's a problem. Flaws are things that you can work on as an individual to get better at. Tony Khan is not going to work on any of this because he listens to Dave Meltzer and those guys that are always stroking his ego. I listened to a clip from Dave Meltzer the other day, him talking about a match. And I forget who it was. It was two people in the ring. And he was like, the reaction was crazy. It was awesome. And then I watched the clip. No sound. Like the fans were so into it. They were so over on it.
Yeah.
And Brian Alvarez, for his credit, the guy he's works with the PW Insider, is telling Dave, like, dude, there was no one cared about it at all. Dave's like, no, you're not getting it. They were there. When Tony only listens to that guy, who's always just, he doesn't have one bad thing to say and one constructive even thing to say about it. It's all great. It's been, of course, Tony's going to assume he's doing a great job.
Well, I think it all, and I'm going to preface this by saying I think this is a very, very important part for those who watch us every single week. You know this already. But if you're tuning in for the first time, we do tape during Dynamite. And you have to almost do it as a homework assignment. But I will go back.
I thought I was done with homework when I graduated.
I know.
I've been out of school for a while.
But I want to make sure that point is clear. Because AEW, to their credit, is coming off of a hot pay-per-view. And again, I'm not saying that every match was off the charts. It was not. I think there was just being there was probably a 1.5 hour stretch of just, can we get to the Danielson match? Can we get to Will Ospreay? Can we get to this match? Because they put their 3 top matches at the end. You know, WWE typically will spread them out.
Yeah, they'll put their opener as like a big championship match. It's a big women's match. That's super important, whatever it is. Like, and here's the problem with AEW. Now what?
And that's going to be...
You blew your load for pay-per-view, and now TV's like,
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
And the build-up sucked, too, for all these matches.
Well, and that's going to be the thing. And I think this is what you're facing. And I think this is important. For those who ordered the pay-per-view, for the many people who are in St. Louis or happen to travel to St. Louis, and they saw this match, and they saw what happened afterwards, even with the Young Bucks, and saw Swerve win the AEW championship. I promise you, every person who walked out St. Louis University Sunday night, I think it nearly sold out.
How many people fit that?
It's a 7,000 seat arena.
God.
But you know what?
On a pay-per-view?
But
you can't sell out 7,000 with all these dream matches on a fucking pay-per-view
but
in St. Louis.
But here's the thing. I think it nearly sold out. I'm pretty sure. I don't have the official number.
Close is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Well, but the thing is, I will give them credit. I will give the roster credit. The build up to this, sucked.
This should have been
the build up. The build up was absolutely terrible.
That match shouldn't be on shouldn't be in front of 7,000 people. It should be in front of 60,000 people. That's how you get Will Ospreay over. And I had someone comment on that post that you were making fun of on TikTok too.
Maybe you should turn your phone down.
Yeah, whatever.
Buddy.
I'm getting some shit. He can't hear it, but like it's.
You're gonna hear.
But no, like they said, oh, all they have to do is get some storytelling. All they have to do is get some storytelling. That's what this fucking business is. Telling stories. Ask the guy who's kicking the dude in the face about that right now.
That's a huge deal.
That is the deal.
That's the deal.
Moves don't mean shit. MJF did one top rope move in 4 years in the company. He's the most over star. Listen, Will Ospreay, great athlete. That's awesome. Kenny Omega, great athlete. That's awesome. I don't care. And neither does all of America. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, you have to be able to bring us in. And that's the problem. Booking is the number one problem with this. It's not a flaw. It's a problem. And when the guy leading the company is so just headstrong on doing things his way when he has no experience doing this before, he's a fantasy booking fucking kid that if his dad didn't have billions of dollars, he'd be in his fucking dad's basement. Like, it is what it is. He's
First of all, that would
idiot.
be an elaborate basement. That would be a great basement.
Not if he didn't have billions of dollars. He'd have no money. They'd be fucking there. They'd be asking Pete to fucking take out a room in this place because they'd have no money. They had to fucking $100 for a room. Can we give it to you?
Can I ask you this?
And Pete would say no because he has morals.
That's true. That's very true. Can I ask you this, though? Is Tony Khan allowed to make mistakes?
Yes, mistakes. This has been 5 years running of bad decision making. He needs to have the foresight and have the people around him. He needs to listen to people that are telling him, get someone in charge of booking. You can be the president. Hell, you can go make media appearances where you can do your whole, I'm not going to answer any questions while answering questions bullshit. That's fine. That's what owners of football teams and all that stuff do. But they have GMs. They have people running operations day to day. Triple H is not the CFO, CEO, head board member of WWE. He's the CCO, Chief Content Officer. He focuses on the content. He has people he answers to that handle all the other bullshit, the business, all that stuff. If you're truly a businessman, handle the business side. Give this to someone like that guy, Brian. Let him run the actual day-to-day of AEW. Something like that. We're kind of teasing a little bit of what the series is going to be because I have ideas, but at the same point, it's common sense. He doesn't know what he's doing. I can go into an arena right now and say, you know what? Yeah, Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay be a pretty cool fucking match. Let's do it. Anyone can do that. Joe Schmo with 2 followers on YouTube can do that shit. It's fantasy booking. That's all he's doing is fantasy booking pay-per-views. And the problem is, AA, he's not even selling out, 14, 15, 16,000 seat arenas. He's barely getting to a sellout point in a 7,000 seat arena for these matches that he thinks, that everyone thinks, are these huge, dream, crazy matches. We're not talking about MLW. We're not even talking about TNA. These are supposed to be huge, huge stars that are making tens of millions of dollars, right? They can't even sell at this arena with established names. Guys that have been on fucking WWE. Daniel Bryan, John Moxley, Chris Jericho, all these guys. I know you have thoughts about Chris. We'll get to that in a second. I don't blame you. But still, the name.
Right.
You see that on the card, you're like, oh, fucking Chris Jericho, okay. You may hate it after you watch it, but at least you know who he is. Like, they still can't fucking do it. That obviously is not their fault. It's the guy running the fucking ship. At some point, you gotta look and blame the fucking captain and stop blaming everybody else. Plain and simple.
So.
Rant done.
I'm glad you got that all out your system. I'm glad. And I think this series is going to be big time. But I think I'm going to come at this series a little bit differently. And again, I preface this by saying we do tape during Dynamite. So this is going to be, we got to follow up and see. The follow-up is 100% key with this.
Because you want me to be tortured and not to watch the show.
But it's going to build more to what I'm going to say here. And this is going to probably shock you. At this very moment, right now, in the immediate future, short term, as in this week, maybe next week, I am more excited about what's next in AEW than I am about WWE. At this very moment.
What is next? Because they blew everything in this one fucking pay-per-view.
Well,
it's not even their biggest pay-per-view. All In is their biggest pay-per-view. They treated it like it was a WrestleMania, but the problem is it was in front of 6,000 fucking people in St. Louis.
Well,
so what's
their
next?
problem? I understand. I get it. Going into this pay-per-view, they had sacrificed so much credibility with the whole CM Punk footage.
Oh, but Jack Perry came back and tied it all together, didn't he?
It was,
and the crowd went mild.
In the gutter. Well, crowd was kind of into it. Was kind of into Jack Perry returning, and I think it's going to be now. Again, I did not walk away saying, "Well, I can't wait to watch the Young Bucks as characters. I can't wait to watch Jack Perry as characters." What I did learn, if you take, sometimes pay-per-views can be one match stands out above all, right? I didn't really know much about Will Ospreay because of everything you mentioned before, which was you got to get him introduced, you got to moving things up, you got to get him introduced to an audience. I was introduced essentially at that pay-per-view, and if a wrestling fan walks away saying WWE's at the very top, but AEW has Will Ospreay, that means something.
No, you see, this is the problem. I knew this was going to happen with you because you were going to watch this pay-per-view and you were going to get super excited.
And
then reality is going to strike over the next couple weeks when they do shit ratings.
Hold up, let me finish here. That does mean something. Now, if they don't follow up after their roster went out and took care of business, then yes, that is 100% on Tony's fault, and that's it. The bottom is out, and that's it.
Double A, this has been every single time, every single pay-per-view. This has happened. What a bunch of great matches. What's going to happen next? Absolutely fucking nothing. Want to know why? None of these people are moving the fucking meter. None of them.
You don't think that a possible...
No. It doesn't matter what you say. The answer is no. And you want to know why? It's because the guy who's behind the fucking curtain. It doesn't matter. They can have 10-star matches at the pay-per-view, Double A.
That's fine. And again, I'm not saying...
I'm not trying to make... It's literally in front of you.
No, but here's the thing. If Tony listens to one guy, which is Dave Meltzer...
That's all he listens to.
If he listens to one guy, then he's in the toilet. If he listened to the entire crowd of St. Louis, if he listened to the pay-per-view crowd, those who ordered the pay-per-view, those who have watched highlights and you know, hey, I got to tune in to Dynamite, last night. I got to tune in and see what happens next. If they built a new fan of Will Ospreay, they won. They won the night. They won the week. They did the job.
The night, not the week.
They did the job.
They sold 6,000 fucking tickets.
Okay, fine. They got the W for the one night. They finally got something. Now it's up to Tony. It's up because it's clear that this roster does want to work for him. It's clear that for all the criticisms that we have laid out on AEW, that the fans have laid out on AEW, it is clear that they have a roster who wants to work hard for him.
No. Absolutely not.
Yes, it is.
The entire roster thought the all-out fucking, or the all whatever it is, was all bullshit. They thought it was all stupid, the footage he put out there. They want to work for each other. They don't work for him. They want his money. They definitely want his money.
Look,
they're all paid. Everyone's got guaranteed contracts.
Well,
WCW.
The same thing happened at WCW. They all took the money and wrestled shit matches. At least here, they're not wrestling garbage-ass matches. They're at least wrestling good matches. Again, they can't help it if there's no story behind it. If there's
I'm not
no
blaming
story
the talent.
it,
I'm not. We talked about this last week.
But that's the difference. That's the difference. It's that, hey, everything was down. But at least you got guys who were able to go out there and say, hey, we're going to put a good show out there for the fans. We'll go out there and deliver. I hate the Young Bucks as characters, but they had to go on after this match, and they put on a phenomenal match. They did.
You can tell he hung out with his AEW friend, too, because he's all hyped up about him now. Give it a couple weeks. He'll come back. It's fine.
Here's the other thing. As far as those friends, they are just as down an AEW product as we are. Going in. Just as down. Now, my buddies actually had way more knowledge about Will Ospreay. That's why they wanted to actually go and see him compete.
They're hardcore
Brian.
AEW fans. I mean,
they're not hardcore
they're
AEW.
smart fans.
If
you're watching AEW, you're hardcore AEW.
They are not hardcore AEW fans. They're knowledgeable wrestling fans. And Will Ospreay.
Oh, the smart fans. You're right. Exactly.
Will Ospreay is a well-known, established wrestler among professional wrestling fans, among hardcore fans in general. He's well known.
Popping those ratings.
But again, the story does make a difference. It does. The story makes a difference. So it's going to matter. Tony, it's hard to say this too because it is a B-level pay-per-view, Dynasty. But sometimes when the chips are completely against the wall, you do need to stand out. You do need a pay-per-view that delivers. And not just delivers, but hits a grand slam. And I'll go one step further. About just this match in general. There are three matches that are my all-time favorite. 3.
Okay, your favorite's not greatest. Please don't say this is one of the greatest matches. I've seen that a bunch of times too. Listen, it's not. Okay? I'm sure they had a fucking great match. I'm sure they really did because I love Brian. I know he can deliver. Will, like I said, Will has a lot of talent. Okay? This is not one of the greatest matches of all time.
Did you watch the match from start to finish?
Please stop. I don't have to
You
fucking
kind of
know.
do.
No,
you
I
kind
don't.
of do.
No, I don't.
You really can't say that if you didn't watch it from start to finish.
I'm not going to spend $60 on a shit product. I'm sorry. I'm not. I barely want to watch Dynamite because I know what I'm going to fucking watch.
Kind of, legally, whatever. But from what I saw, from start to finish, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Ultimate X, 2005.
Okay, well, yeah, you're already
TNA.
off to, yeah. So you're going to have, your list is going to be weird. So that's fine.
Can I finish my fucking list?
You started it now.
Can I finish the fucking list? My fucking God. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. WrestleMania 20. I don't even have a fucking voice. I can't even fucking finish the list. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. Mania 25. 26 had a better story, but 25 was just off the charts.
Mm-hmm. Fair. Roman
versus Cody. A few weeks back.
Yeah.
As far as my favorite matches with the ending and everything even if you took out everyone interfering, it was still an unbelievable match. Everything all still came together. And I'm putting this match right there. As far as my favorite matches that I've seen, because going into the match, a ton of expectation. And quite honestly, these two were in charge of bringing together, lifting up a company that has been down in the dumps.
Daniel actually produced the match.
Brian produced the match.
There was
like you mentioned, and you had a great point probably about a month or so ago. You had a great point. You said Brian has the task of introducing Will Ospreay to the American audience. And he must produce this match smartly. And they did. The one thing we're not gonna know until we're done with the taping. The injury at the end, was that a real thing or not? What was going on with the injury at the end? But this spot here, where they, the chest was there, everything was laid out. They've pretty much matched up with each other. And corner to corner, it's almost like Dragon Ball Z like. They come across, and Ospreay was the one that connected with the final blow. You kind of need that. And It was off the charts.
Which
from
wasn't
start.
the final blow, right? Because then he hit him with the Tiger Driver. Then he hit him with another elbow.
It was one more move, and that was it.
Yeah, two.
And then the collarbone. So, again, I don't know what happened with the injury. If that was planned, I don't like that, if it was planned. But let's kind of see what happens on that front. But, again, four of my favorite matches that I just listed: Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, all the way back in 05 at TNA. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. Roman versus Cody a few weeks ago. And then this match. This match would be number one if there was a huge story behind it. If AEW didn't have 20,000 championships, if this was for just one AEW World Championship, if this was a world title match, and AEW only had that title, the U.S. Championship and a Women's Championship, and that was it, then yeah, this would be elevated to that level. So their shortcomings do pull this thing back, but the talent did all they could to make things happen. I do want to mention, though, that this guy is a Jericho, not Kyle. Jericho.
Well, I mean, at this point, he almost wanted to kill me there. So anytime I can get double A to want to physically throw something at me, I know I've done something right.
I know. Look. No, here and again.
The list is not bad. Before you keep going, the AJ Styles thing. Okay, so Samoa and AJ. Yeah, I saw that one.
I understand. I was just saying.
When you say TNA, I automatically go, oh boy.
I'm not going to mention a random 2014 match called by Joey Matthews. No. Excuse me. Excuse me.
He was yelling too much at times.
No, but
he was really into it.
I know. I'll just say this, though. These are the challenges now that's upon AEW going forward. First off, they have a Jericho problem, which we'll get to in a second. A major Jericho problem.
With that meaningless title he's holding?
Right.
Yeah.
The sixth championship. You should honor the sixth championship in AEW.
At least they combined two of the trios titles, which who the fuck cares? But
the problem is, though, it did happen. It happened on pay-per-view. And because it happened on pay-per-view, you're going to have a tough time changing the minds of people who have given up on AEW. You're going to have a tough time. You're going to have a tough time changing those minds. And the other thing, you just got to buy the pay-per-view. You just heard this guy say it. If you could get a WWE pay-per-view and pay $5 a month to Peacock, which we perceived, WWE, despite how great AEW had it, as a superior product, if you lose the trust of wrestling fans, it's going to be a hard sell, even on a great night. It's going to be a hard sell to bring them back, to bring you back.
Well, it's because I know what's going to happen. I know the pay-per-view is going to be great, right? I mean, we've talked about this before. They put on great matches. I don't blame the talent most times. There's a couple there, namely a few EVPs that are pretty dumb too, but that's beside the point. A lot of these guys can work. Mm-hmm. They can. Brian, Will, I told you before, a lot of fucking talent. Mm-hmm. Adam Cole, when he gets back, he's walking around now. That's great to see.
Yeah,
I'd be more excited to watch the Roderick Strong Kyle O'Reilly match, because for me, that's Undisputed Era was.
That was a solid match as well.
I said it fucking last week. That group had a lot of fucking potential to be like Shield-like.
Yeah.
In WWE, but unfortunately, the other guy that was in charge didn't see it that way, and we ended up losing out on that, which is unfortunate. I feel bad for Adam Cole too, because he's kind of in this kind of thing. And again, there is hope, and I don't want to. I feel like I'm trying to just wave the flames a little bit down, because everyone's super pumped up because the pay-per-view just happened a few days ago. Because now we have to get back to the regular television, the regularly scheduled product. And that's
You have
where,
to go back to class on Monday.
and that's what listen. That party
though.
this weekend, that was a banger, bro. We had so much fun. The girls, it was all.
You gotta get back to class.
It was so great. But then, oh yeah, we got class on Monday at 8 a.m. Oh shit. Okay.
And we've known each other for a long time now. And again, you're not talking to a hardcore AEW or bust fan, obviously. Imagine talking to those fans.
It's easy though to go to a show and to have a match that you consider one of your best matches of all time, and not go, man, they gotta be. They're gonna be on the up and up. They gotta be, right? It's very easy to have that mindset, and I knew you were gonna have it coming in because I knew everybody.
You came in hot, though.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to fan these flames down because people now the problem is the expectations are going to be really high again, and you're going to get let down.
Can I mention one thing?